What up, YouTube? It's your boy, Detroit Love, with a live video. Today, we're going to talk about the NFL Blitzmas from the Team Encoder. And so, just going to share what I did to add some additional games, how you can copy and duplicate what I did, and hope you get over that hump, that fear of just not knowing, and get your cabinet set up just the way you want it. Let's get it started.
Thanks for watching.
All right, guys. So I'm gonna go over the slide and just talk about. I'm giving you the information that you need to be able to get the end results that you want. Okay, and so again, in Team Encoder, they're the ones that made this thing happen. Here's their website. Here's their Discord. Their Discord is where all the action takes place. Um, you want to have already have installed Blitzmas on your cabinet. And so here's the unofficial tutorial that I created that gives you that step-by-step. And so I just want you to have all the information. Again, what you know about Blitzmas, you've already done that. You have your installer file. You have the file that converts your cabinet to be able to recognize a USB drive. And then they gave you what they call the USB test zip file, which gave you that the extra games and the Blitzmas treat and all those things. So those are the two files that they gave you. Once you use that program and make your Blitz cabinet look for that USB drive, the USB drive that you put in there can be any image that you want. Okay, they just provided a test file so you can get started and know that it works. Okay, excuse me. So these are the games that they added on top of what you already had on your cabinet. So these games came with it. I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, all right. And so now let's just go back, make sure. It looked like it was. It's like these slides are not updating here. All right, so those are included games, and for some reason it's not. My slides are not updating. So let's just give it a second. It's weird. It's like you go back. All right. Okay, that's weird. Something's going on. Okay. All right. So again, this is a beta. This is not the final product. They will make changes and updates to this. So just you want to stay tuned to the Discord channel to know what's happening. But even if you put the Blitzmas the way it is, put the image that we do today, your image will always work that way, and you don't have to change it. You don't have to get the non-beta. You can keep it just the way it is today. All right. What up, Raw Arcade dude? I'm glad this hopefully this video is going to be able to help you to get started. So welcome to the live show. I appreciate you stopping in. All right. So let's keep it going here. Where's my controls? All right. So when you're over at the Discord, just remember that these are techies that are used to talking to computers and talking programming language and coding and all this. They may not talk to other human beings just as well as they do with the code. All right. So if you do not have thick skin, do not attempt to ask questions or whatever. because they may be, they're working on a whole lot of stuff. They're trying to do this. They do this as a passion and it's free, and I'm sure it's frustrating at times, right? uh, People asking the same questions that's already been made available because they don't want to read, right? So all these things are together, right? So just know that um, they're here to help, but they may not uh, talk with kids' gloves. Okay, so have thick skin if you're going to interact. Um, this code they've taken from previous projects. So this disc that you have, the image that you have, might have extra stuff that's not needed, but know that it'll work as it is. If you want to try and clean it up, you can. If you don't care, don't worry about it. But just know you might find files on there that aren't necessary. But all these games collectively do not take up a whole lot of space. And you'll see there's multiple images out there at different sizes, depending on what size card you have, what your interest level is. And some they're just testing to see which games they can get to work, period. Doesn't mean that those games are the best games for this cabinet, uh, because this cabinet is a 4-player cabinet. This player only has 3 buttons for each controls, each joystick. So even though a game may work for it, it may not work at its best because the game might need 6 buttons and you only have 3 buttons. So just keep that in mind. All right. Again, you can't jack up your cabinet. You unplug this USB device and your cabinet functions as it did previously. Um, if you're going to get upset about things not working perfectly, just avoid doing anything. Um, what's going on, Chase Money? Welcome to the live stream. Chosen One, welcome. All right, so let's get started. So, how do you add more ROMs or more games? So let me just make this clear. I don't know which ROM sets are designed to work with this cabinet. Uh, I just simply use images that others have shared, and I'm going to share that with you so you can do the same. Okay. Um, and just remember this simple thing: the process that we're doing today is no different than what you've already done. You already know what to do and how to do it. It just comes down to which image that you're using. Okay. So in the past, when you added this to your cabinet, you added the image that Team Encoder provided, right? That had those games that we listed previously. Um, and you just copy that. You download the file, you unzip the file, either to another subfolder on your computer, or you zipped it directly into the main folder of the USB drive. Okay. So if you see here in this picture here on the right is the new image that we're using. On the left is the image that Team Encoder gave you. You can see the contents of the USB drive is going to look identical. It's going to have the same 3 folders and the 1 payload file. Uh, but what's inside the NFL folder is going to be different based on the image that you have. So there's many images out there with different sizes. So if you want to go out and get the biggest SD cards you can get and want to be able to put every game that they find out that they can get working on here, you can do that. If you're fine with a small drive, it's going to limit what you can put on it. Okay. So the primary site that they use to put the images on is called mega.nz. Okay. And so that site is a site that you can share files. They have a free service and a paid service. And either way, whether it's free or paid, people sometimes are frustrated with that site and the way they operate it. Okay. So just know there might be some issues downloading files, and you might have to download the app and all these type of things. But just know that. Okay. So how do you find the images that these guys have already made available? You can find that in their Discord. on their Discord channel in the Blitz chat, they're talking about all kinds of things. But if you are just simply interested in getting a new image, you can just simply go to the Discord channel and go up to uh, the search field and type in mega.nz. That will show you all the discussions where someone has shared a link. Okay. And when you see those list of items that they shared, it'll give you the file size. So you see in this picture here, the 20 gig, and then there's a 246 gig. Okay. And there's different sizes in between these. Okay. And smaller than these and larger than these. So as it goes on, these files are going to get larger. Again, you choose which ones you want to do. But the easiest way to find it is to search for mega.nz to locate the conversations. And then when you hover over the that box that has the link in it, you'll see this jump button. If you hit this jump button, that's going to jump to the conversation about that link. So you might just want to see what they're saying, because you know they may be saying, hey, there's problems with this image, but I have here and I've added these games and I did these things. So the discussions around that you'll be allowed to see that if you click on jump. That'll take you to that discussion. Okay. And let's see what Scotty says. Scotty Roboti, it's very important to save a backup as you go. Trust me. Yep. And we'll get to that. All right. Thank you for that. Chosen One says, where do I put my own games if I already have them on my computer? Again, we're going to talk about that. If you don't want to download another image. Now, again, I'm not the right person to talk about what's the right image. I can tell you how you can set it up. Okay. As long as these images that you have, Chosen One, are valid and will work, I'm going to show you what to do with that. Okay. All right. So we're going to use, for this example here, we're going to use the 20 gig file. Okay. For simplicity, so you see here, this is the link to Mega, and there's a big giant link. And if you go to Discord, and it's in the description of this video, you can just go and click it. But I made a shortcut, a smaller URL called tinyurl. So there's tinyurl.com/Blitzmas 2025. That'll take you directly to that long name for that file. Okay. So if you go to that URL, you're going to get the file. Okay. Keep a copy of this, like Scotty Roboti just said. Keep a copy of the zip file as a backup on your computer. Make a copy of any file before you edit it. Okay, because you can always go back if you have the image. Okay. So like I said, when you download the files, you're going to have, and you unzip it to your USB drive. In my case, my drive is H. You're always going to have these 4 items, 3 folders, 1 file. You don't need to touch that payload. That's the payload is the file that the cabinet is looking for to load, and it's going to be given instructions on what to do. So you never touch that payload file. That's needed, but just know that that's needed in order for this USB drive to work. All right. So let's just talk about what's in the folder. Okay. So the COT folder, that is simply the Blitzmas treat game, the images and things that's needed for that. Okay. The NFL folder, because this is the NFL Blitz cabinet, this is the main folder where all of the ROMs and related files are stored in. Okay. So the COT and the SDL file, that's where all the menu and the launching of the files is the executables for that is. So the SDL is how the menu is displayed and how it launches and goes and finds the information that's in the NFL folder in order for it to launch. Okay. And again, like I said earlier, some files in the NFL folder and the SDL folders may be left over from other projects, so it may be extra stuff there. Okay. So which games did I add? I added everything from the 20 gig folder. Okay. but I only chose to display these particular games in addition to what was already provided by Team Encoder. So again, the easiest thing to do um, is to just load the image until you learn. Like Chosen One says, I believe it's Chosen One. Yeah, Chosen One already has his images, so he only wants to put on his SD card the images that he wants to display. But what I'm showing you is how you put this 20 gig image on your USB drive, and then you'll have all those games still there, but you can only, and I'll show you how to only display the ones that you want. And then as you get more familiar with it, you might want to go and play and add some back so you can play with them, but they're always going to remain on your USB drive. They just won't be displayed and accessible from the menu. Okay? Just want to make that clear. So this is what we're going to cover. We're going to cover removing the Blitzmas game, because once you've already played the game, you don't need to display on your menu anymore. Okay. I don't know if you can remove that COT folder. I would think that you could once you remove this from the menu, because if you remove the folder and you don't remove this from the Blitzmas treat game from the menu, then it's going to try and execute that and it won't be there, right? So you get an error. But if you remove this, I'm sure you can remove that folder, but it doesn't hurt. It's a very small folder. It doesn't hurt for it to remain there. I'm just letting you know. All right, we're going to remove the RetroArch item from the menu, and we're going to eliminate any games that we don't want to appear on the menu. And then we're going to discuss how you can swap out some of the menu images if you don't like the way they look, because they just threw some up here to say, hey, this is Moonwalker and this is The Simpsons and all that. They want to give you a menu that function. If you want to customize it, I'm going to show you some tips on how to do that. Okay, so the two main files that you need in order to launch games, one, you have to have the games, but these are the games that give you the instructions, right, on how to launch it. So the launch game, the launch.sh file, you can open this in Notepad or Notepad++. This includes the links and paths to launch the ROMs for the games from the menu, and this is where you would add the the coding. You would just basically duplicate what they have, pointing to your own files from this launch file. The launch and the menu go together. So these are two files you have to understand in order to get your games to launch. Once you have your games and place them in the folders that you want, you need to modify the launch and the menu.xml file. All right. So the menu XML it just simply includes the title and the paths to display the name of the game and the image for the game. The title is used for that launch file, that launch.sh file we talked about. These things have to match so that it knows where to go and grab and look for the code from that launch file. So if you add your own games, you have to make sure you make whatever you call the menu item, you have to make the executable in the launch file the same name so it knows how to connect the dots. Okay. And then we're going to remove any items that we don't want to display in our menu. So from this menu file. All right. Now, menu images. Again, images exist in different subfolders, and you'll see that when we look at those files. Most are PNG. Some are JPEG, JPG, and there's at least one JPEG file, and that's for the RetroArch image. PNG files are the file types that you want to use if you want to have transparent backgrounds. JPEGs are going to be a solid background. All right. And then you can use graphic apps like GIMP to update those graphics. Okay. All right. So here's an example of the menu file. Okay. So you show it. So each one of these items, starting from that less than item all the way to the end where you have that greater than item, everything in between that, this is HDMI code. This is coding that displays these items in a list. And depending on what if you want certain games to be the first game that comes up, then it will have to be the first on this list. Okay. So you see it has title. Title equals, and then it gives a name. Okay. In parentheses and quotes. This is the name that's going to display, and then here it shows the image path. Then this is where the image is showing you where is it getting the image to show. So for that first one, Arcade1up Blitz, it's going to the images folder, the A1UP folder, and it's grabbing a JPEG called NFL. Okay. And so write down that list. Now, I got moved. And so the ones that are yellow, these are just things I changed from the original. Okay. All right. So let's bring up this file. Uh-oh. All right. So let's close out this presentation. So here's the Blitz cabinet. So this is the way you have it today. You have Arcade1up. You have the Blitzmas treat game, and all these games that they added for you. Okay, and the retro arch. Okay, so we're going to get rid of the retro arch. We're going to get rid of the Blitz treats just to show you how simple that is to do first. So we're going to do these things in steps. So we need to remove. So we're going to turn off the cabinet. And then we're going to remove our drive. So this is currently for those who have not made any changes. I'm just going to show you. So all right, so in this case, this is F. I don't know why this thing is so tiny, but we're going to present this screen. Okay. So this is the folder. In this particular drive, it's the F drive. We have our 3 folders. The SDL is where the menus is where I got to remember I'm pointing on a different screen. All right. So the SDL is where the menu and the launch thing is. So right away, you want to back this up just so you don't mess up anything. All right. So we're just going to copy this, or just hit stop it. We're just going to select this, hit copy, and then hit paste. I don't know what just happened here. Copy. I may have this right protected. I don't believe I do. All right. SDL. Copy this and paste it. So we have a copy of that, and we're going to do the same thing with launch, just so we don't mess up anything. Copy it, hit paste. All right. So now we have originals, and I'm just going to make these original. Okay, and so now we can safely modify this. But let me just show you the launch. I'm going to show you both. So if I open up these and I use the Notepad++. So I need to share this screen instead of sharing just share the screen, the entire screen here. All right. All right. So now if I bring up Notepad, bring that down here. All right. So there's two files. This is the launch file. This is the menu file. All right. So let's just look at. So let's look for NBA Jam. So this is the name, the title, right? So if I copy that, if I go over to launch, just so you can understand how it works, if we do a Control F to find, and we type in that NBA Jam, all right, we hit find. So you see here, when this is, they're grabbing this from, these are the game titles, right? The titles are in that menu. So NBA Jam is going to launch this program called launch_NBA Jam. All right. So if we go and find that, here's the program for it. So and what's going to happen when you want to launch NBA Jam is going to mount this thing, this particular MAME emulator. Is going to use this particular config file for RetroArch, and it's going to mount this emulator here and this file. So here's my NBA Jam zip file. So this is how it knows what to launch. So Chosen One was asking, where do I put my games at? Well, you're going to put your games anywhere you want them to be in this NFL folder, because that's where all the ROMs are. Because it's RetroArch, you're going to put it in the RetroArch, and you're going to put it in the ROMs folder because if it's a ROM for that. Okay, but you'll see here there's other places. So here's a Dreamcast in the ROMs folder here. They have a Dreamcast folder, and so they have the CHD file for that. So different types of files are going to be required to be handled differently. But this launch file and this programming name that is assigned by this launch file is telling it what to do. Okay. All right. So that's easy to understand. All right. So that's how the launch file is. So if you're not adding your own games, you won't need to touch the launch file. But if you are adding your own games, you need to know that it works in two pieces. One, you have the menu. If we search again for NFL NBA Jam, you have this. This corresponds with whatever you have in your menu, in your menu file, right? You see in my menu file, I have these list of files. In the launch file, we have the same thing with the same exact name that we have from the title, the same exact title, not name, the same exact title, and we tell it which program to use. Okay? All right. So I hope that's clear. All right. So let's talk about the menu. So we can remove things from the menu so it doesn't show up without having to change the launch file, because if there's no menu item, there's nothing to launch. So we don't have to change the launch file. If you want it to be them to match, you can go do that, but there's no need to do it. All right. So if we want to get rid of the Blitzmas thing, we just delete this line. That's it. Nothing. Uh, and these things don't have to line up, but just aesthetically, you can make those line up. And then we want to get rid of this. Let me close this. We want to get rid of this retro arch menu as well. Okay. And as long as we have menu and slash menu and all those things in between, we're good. So if we exit this and update it, then we can eject our drive and load it back up. And turn our cabinet back on. Scotty says finding graphics was the hardest part. Yep, you're gonna. I created mine. And I'll show you those. So a couple of them, and I'm eventually gonna create all of them so they look the way I want them to look, and I'll share those with anybody that's interested. All right. So now you see, since we edited our menu file, there's no Blitzmas treat and there's no retro arch. Okay, it's only the games. All right. So those are the games for the built-in one. All right. So let's talk about our image that we download. All right. So let's just talk about that real quick. So if we go back over here, share our screen. All right. So if we went to a browser, let's get a new tab, bring it here. And so if we went to our tiny URL, for our Blitzmas, okay? When we go to that, it's going to go to that long name, and we simply just click download, okay? Now this is going to take, however long it takes based on your internet speed, okay? So I'm going to pause that because I've already downloaded, but that's what you do. You click on it, you download it. So once you download it, it's going to be in your downloaded folder. Okay, so it's going to download the zip file. You see, it says 21 gig. All right, you're going to extract this. The best thing to do is to extract directly into your drive. This zip file is your backup. So as long as you don't delete that, you have a backup that you can just simply extract again into your folder if you need it, or extract it into a folder on your computer. It's just going to use double the space on your computer, right? 21 gig, zip file, and then the file folder. But when you zip it to your drive, if your drive was F, you just want to put this as F/ and hit extract, and it will extract it, those 3 folders and that one file directly without any subfolder. Okay, so you hit that, and that's going to take however long it takes for based on the speed of your drive. Okay, but once you do that, you're going to then have your, let's click down here, you're going to have your drive, and in my case it is the H drive, right? Okay, so in this case this is my H drive. So now this is the file that's downloaded, and again I copied my menu file and my launch file just so I have the original. Okay. And so if we let's look at the menu file on this. So open with Notepad++. Okay. So now, so this is the edited version that I did. So let's get back the original that you'll have. All right. So I'm going to just rename this to be D-Love version. And we'll name this copy. Let's make another copy. Copy, paste. All right, so we just have another copy. And now we just rename this one back to just simply menu, and that will be the original. Okay, all right. So if we edit this, all right, so these are all the games that's on that 20 gig image. What up, Paul? Happy Championship Sunday, everyone, for sure. Who are you guys rooting for today? Are you rooting for KC or Buffalo Bills or Washington or Philly? I think you know, I'm conflicted with KC. I like that KC can be able to build this history like Tom Brady and those guys, right? Mahomes can get his collection of rings and build up that. I love to see that. But then I also like to see Hurts get his ring or one of these new guys. So I don't know. Whatever happens, happen. I'm gonna just enjoy it. So look like someone likes those Eagle flies. Washington, even though they beat our Lions. Um, yeah, so I don't have a horse in the race. I was hoping that the Lions would be the lion in the race and eat up all the horses, but they got ate up. Didn't even get a playoff win, so that was horrible. All right, so back to our regularly scheduled program. All right, so these are all of the games that's on that 20 gig image. Now again, if you get a 128 image, a 256 image, you're going to have more games. Okay, but these are all the games that are available on this 20 gig drive. So whatever you like, whatever you want to stay, you keep in your menu file. So again, I don't want to have the Blitzmas treat in there because I've already won. You don't want to take Blitzmas out until you won the game, otherwise you won't be able to have the late hits. All right. So to get the games down to the ones that I like, I'll just remove all of, and I can't remember exactly which ones I said. I know I didn't want this puzzle fighter, so I'll delete that line. Sunriser, Bomberman. I would like to have Dead on a Dead or Alive too, but you don't have all the controls. And so I'm going to just get rid of. I'm just deleting all these. I'm highlighting these all. I know there was Baseball Stars. I think I kept that one. And I pretty much got rid of all of these other ones. I'm going to leave one in here. I'm going to leave the Metal Slug one in and get rid of all the rest, including that Retro Arch. Now you got to be careful. You don't want to get rid of your menu, your end menu item at the bottom. It's got to start with menu and end with / menu in between the brackets. Okay. So by me deleting those items, I'm not deleting the games. I'm only deleting the reference to what the menu is going to show. So if you don't have it in the menu, there's no way to launch it. Okay, so I'm not removing the games from the NFL folder. They're still there. If I ever want to go back, I can go back to my original menu file, find the code for, say, Metal Gear 4, and paste it right into this file. All right, so I'm going to save this. But before I do that, I just want to, well, no, I'm gonna close it. And so I'm going to load it up so you can see. I mean, I didn't, I guess I skipped a step. I didn't show you on the screen all of the games there, but just trust me that they're all on that disc and they all will show up if you plug it in. So I'm gonna unplug this. I'm gonna turn this off. Get my screen back shared here. I don't know why it won't let this screen, because it's a camera show. Okay. All right. So I'm going to unplug. Now this is the standard image that from Team Encoder, and then this is the larger disc that has the 20 gig file on it. The files from the 20 gig. Again, I don't have this hanging out here all the time. This is just easy access while I'm updating, and otherwise this goes all the way in the back. But it just helps me from not having to keep taking the door off as I experiment. All right. So now this is going to be that 20 gig image with showing only the games that I'm interested in. What's up, Jason Little Alien? Having a great weekend. I am indeed. I also have off Monday, so that's a cool thing too. So you see here, I have Metal Slug. Let's just remove this here. So you have Metal Slug, I have Baseball Stars. I have all the games that I left in my menu. Okay. So at this point, you would be done. Just that simple. It's just that easy. You can narrow the list down. You download the file, put it on the USB drive, edit your menu file, and you are done. Now I didn't change my background here. This is whoever made this image. This is the image that they put up. So I'm not sure. We can probably find that in the launch file probably. But let me just show you a couple things. So you can see these images. All these images are different, right? Open Ice. You see NBA Jam. This is a PNG file. That's why it's transparent. You can see Bart's head, right? Where you can't see all of Bart's head with this, because this is a JPEG file. Okay. This is a JPEG file. So it's not transparent. These two, right? But then this transparent. This is transparent. You can see Bart's mouth there, right? This one's not transparent, right? So you can choose to leave these files or update it. Now the Blitz, I don't know, something's wrong with that. Something's wrong with the naming convention of this Blitz file. So we'll have to look at that and see what happened there. Okay. So that's how you'll know when there's a problem. It wasn't able to display it. And Turtles. So I'm going to change the Simpsons. I'm going to change the Simpsons picture because this looks kind of cheesy to me. What's going on, Antonio? This is my brother. How you doing? Yeah, I'll do that. It's in the mail already. You don't see it? All right. So the Simpsons, Michael Jackson. I'm update this one, and I'm going to change the Cowboys and Moo Mesa. Okay. All right. So let me show you that. So how you change the, let me add this back. All right, so how would you change it? So let me unplug, let me turn off the cabinet. Unplug my image and plug it back into the computer. All right. And if I look at that was it F drive? I think it was F. Nope. H. So look at this menu file. So something was wrong with the Blitz. So it didn't like this JPEG here. So something's weird there. And we'll look at that. But let's look at the H drive. So let's look at, we have the menu file. And so it's telling us where these files are. So we're going to update the Simpsons. And you see here it's under images, main, and then the file is called simpsons.png. We're going to update Moonwalker. It's called Moonwalk, Moon WLBK or KB.png. All right. So they're both in the same folder. So if we bring up that folder, we look under the SDL, under images, under main. So these are all the images. So if I display this, change my view to like large icons, just so we can see them. Say extra large. We're all in our 40s and above. All right. So these are the images that they have out here on the disk already. Now you see there's some things that we don't have on here, pole position. But again, there's a lot of leftover things from other projects. So if you know you're not going to add Chase HQ or DBXO or any of these other things, you can just simply delete those. Okay. So you see here, I made some. So this is what they have for Moon Mesa here. I updated it so that it has I updated it with Kemp here, and I changed it to here because I wanted to have the characters. Okay, so I already did that. I also did the Moonwalker. So this was what Michael Jackson's Moonwalkers. I created this one here with Michael Jackson in it. And then I also did the Simpsons. I'm not seeing the Simpsons. There it is. And so then I made this Simpsons because this is what's there now. And so I wanted, again, the characters to be in my images. Okay. So I created these images, made them PNG files so they have transparent backgrounds. And now I need to update my menu file. So I saved those. I created these images and I saved them in the main folder, SDL images main. I saved them. You see, I didn't remove the original files. I just added these here. But you saw on my, when I showed my display, it still showed the Simpsons like this. Okay. Because I need to update my menu file in order for that to work. All right. So for the Simpsons, the image that I have, I call the Simpsons. So if I just edit this menu file and change it so it points to the Simpsons PNG, and then for my Moo Mesa one, that one is called, you see here, Moo Mesa instead of Moo UA. All right. So in my image file here for the Moo Mesa one here, I'm just going to change this to Moo Mesa. I didn't spell it right. Moo Mesa. All right. And then for the Michael Jackson, I called it Moonwalker logo. All right. So here I spelled out the whole word, Walker logo. Okay. So Moonwalker logo. And then let's see if we can figure out what's going on with the Blitz. So the Blitz is looking for this image here under DC. It's not in main. So we got to go here and go to DC and the Blitz. And there's the image. So I'm not sure why it is not displaying. I'm getting some type of color palette. Oh, right here. So I'm getting some type of color palette error message. But let's just export this and see if we can correct that. Export as into our not in our DC file. We're just gonna call it Blitz 2. Instead of 2K, I'm gonna say 2000 PNG. Instead of JPEG, we're gonna make it a PNG, even though it's not transparent, just so you can see that's changed. So we're not changing. So we'll keep it 2K, Blitz 2K dot PNG. We're going to export it. Okay, and we just hit okay. Export. All right. So if we change our menu file for Blitz, we'll keep it blitz.2k, but change it from JPEG to PNG. All right. So we save our file, eject the drive, eject the drive and plug it in. Turn it on. And we should have our new graphics. So we should have new graphics for our Moonwalker, Simpsons, and Moon Mesa. All right, so we'll go backwards. So you see the Moon Mesa. Now again, this camera is kind of like washing that out, but this is crystal clear on the screen. I don't know why colors are kind of washed out on this camera, but that's a beautiful image of Moon Mesa with the characters in it, as opposed to just saying Cowboys of Moon Mesa. All right, and keep going. Here's Moonwalker. So it has Michael Jackson again. It's kind of washed out, so you're not really seeing it as it appears in the real world. And here's Simpsons. Okay, so instead of just having the words The Simpsons, I got the characters. And so I'm gonna do the same thing for all of my images. I'm gonna update them so that this Batman thing looks better. This Predator is gonna look better. Gonna have the characters, the alien and the Predator, in the logo there. And so I'll make those available once I create those, so that way you can start with those, or and have better looking images. Oh, come on. I don't know why that's there. You go. Why that's, see if that looks any better. Still the colors are not yellow. They're like pale yellow for some reason on the screen, but you see that image looks much better than the image that was there. What up, Johnny? I'm not sure what you're asking here. HTTR. I'm not sure what that means. Dirty Harry, thanks for the video, man. I've been using this when I'll be using this when I do my Blitz mod. Yep. So again, remember, if you're going to do the Blitz mod and you hadn't done it already, there's no need to put the image, that test image on. There's no need to even download that from Team Encoder's website. If you're going to use this 20 gig, or you're going to use the 128 gig or the 256 gig, or whatever image you're going to need, there's no need for you to download both or all of the images. So let's see if we can figure out where this background is. All right, so it has to be in one of these files, right? Let me turn this off. So can you show how to change the background image? So I don't know the answer to that, but I'm sure we can figure it out if just by looking at what we know. So we know that on our did I plug my drawing back in? Nope, didn't. Let me turn off the cabinet and remove the drive. Plug it back into the computer and go to our H drive. All right, so let's look. We know that this directory decides what you see. Here's background right here. BG. What's that? There's the background. Just that easy. So that is the background that's being used. So, and I'm sure, if we looked at this launch file, I gotta remember to click on the actual thing. So if we open this and do a F3 for search, or Control F, whichever one, and do BG and match case. It's not letting us know. It's not telling us where that is. So maybe that's just a default thing. So let's go ahead and test that theory. So let's do what we always do. We back up. So we copy that and we paste it. All right, so that we have a copy of that. So now if I go and I'm going to open up this BG file. I'm just going to open it up with my Snagit editor. So we have the right size. So this is the size of this image. And so we're just going to do a Control A and delete that. And then we're going to I'm just going to I'm going to open up something different here. Let's just go to should have some logos or something right here. Okay. All right, so let's just do, what's this? Oh, so we're just gonna do this. Oh, let's do this. All right. Now I don't know if this was the right size, so I'm going to copy this, undo, I'm going to paste. Well, let me go back here. I don't know why my mouse is acting slinky. All right, so I'm going to copy this. Control A, Control C. Switch over here. That's Control P or V. I'm not going to change the size because we wanted to keep it the size it was. And then I'm just going to resize this to fit into this. Now, this is not showing me the whole area. I'm just going to make this and just see where this ends. Okay. So I'm gonna make this the exact size of what that image was. Come on. That's good. All right. So I'm just gonna save this. And that should be BG, right? Yep, BG. So we're in our SD, we're just calling that BG. All right, so now we close that. We don't need to save any of these other things. All right, and so now let's put our disk back in. Check that here. Put that back in our cabinet. Turn the cabinet on, that'll help. Now, images could be too big, right? That may be what I'm using. This image may be too big of an image size wise. There might be a limit to what size file it has to be. But it'll let us know if for some reason it doesn't like it. It won't display anything if it's not proper. All right, there we go. Oh, yeah. So it's kind of washed out again on my screen for some reason, solo. But you see my background, which is not blurred in the real world. I don't know why this stupid camera. Let me see if this is a focus on this thing. Oh, it's just a. I don't know how you focus this stupid thing. But you see, I have the background image that I wanted. Instead of that background that they had. Okay, so hope that answered your question on how to change the background image. Very easy to do. You just simply change that, or you can't see the file, but you change that BG. Change that BG graphic in the SDL folder, and you get the results that you want to have the background be what you want it to be. So I think that's it, unless you guys have any additional questions. Let me go through the. So finding the graphics is the hardest thing, but it's pretty easy if you know how to search for it. So let me just show you what I do. Let's get another. All right. So let's say, for example, like Sunset Riders. So Sunset Riders is not the way I want it to be. So I would say Sunset Riders logo and then PNG would be the first way I do it. All right. And oh wait, did I close out? Oh. Okay. So I'm not sharing. So let me share this. That's not what I want to do. I'll do this. Turn off. All right. So I would search for Sunset Riders PNG. And that will give me, and I'll click on images so that I only get images. And then I would see what's available. Nothing spectacular, but I would want something with some characters in it, right? But these characters aren't the best. But this one would be probably closer to what I want, but I don't know if the images are going to be good. I don't know what happened to the. Oh, click on the wrong thing. Okay. So sometimes it may not be easy to get those particular graphics, like you said. So I'm looking for the characters. And I don't know that this would be high enough quality to meet what I would want here. Let me just do a Control Plus a couple times. See if we can make that a little bigger. So those characters don't look like they're the best quality. Is there a way to get rid of that? Is there a way to get rid of the megabytes? What is that? You're talking about the when you're in the game, it shows you the what's the word I'm looking for? The not bit count. The 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second is showing you how fast it's showing the graphics. That is going to be removed in a future update of the program. So that's not something we can change right now, but they will remove that. They only have that now because it's in beta and they're testing, and so they need to know how many frames per second this game is running in. It's close to 60, or is it terrible? Because that decides whether they're going to include it or not include it. So that is going to be removed in a future release. And I'll just launch a game just so the people that are watching will know exactly what what you're asking. But yeah, but I would find the characters for Sunset Riders that I would like, and nothing in here is jumping off the screen. Let me say Sunset Riders video game. So it look like this one might be something I would use. All right, so let me switch over to the game play screen. So his question was, how do you get with this frames per second? You see here on this. That's crazy. It was crystal clear. I don't know, so you see up there that whole megabytes, that whole little line there. That's going to be removed in a future version. The memory utilized and the frames per second. That is going to be removed in a future. This camera sucks. But you guys can see what I'm talking about. That's horrible. I don't know why it does that. There's no way to focus this thing. All right. So correct. That's what you're asking about, and it will be removed later. So this might be a graphic that I would use. So let me just give you a real quick and dirty thing that I would do. So I would grab this. What section of it that I would possibly want. And now I have tools on my desktop that works. I mean, on my mobile phone that I have better control over than the PC here. But let's just, for laughs and giggles, let's just save this. We'll just call it, where is it going? Just call it sunset characters. Now, this program doesn't let me cleanly just say erase backgrounds, right? Like other programs I have. You can use programs like the Adobe Express, and they have a background remover. I'll go to photos, and they have like background remover, and you can drag and drop programs in here, pictures in here. If I do that, characters, what was it called? Sunset. And it removes it pretty quickly, right? So I can download that, or I can open that in the editor, and I can resize it and do what I want, and then I can then grab, upload, say that sunset. Though the sunset that was here wasn't very pretty. Where is it? Oh, I don't have the actual folder here. That would be on the H drive. Oh, I have the folder in there. So let me go to the download folder. And let's just go here, images, main, and sunset. And we open that. All right. And then, so then I might do it like this. All right. And then I can download that. And we'll just overwrite the one that we had before. I'll just put it here, right? Or that wasn't. So we'll just call it Sunset Riders and save. All right. Now, what I want to do is I want to get one of the actual sizes that I have, because I want them to be consistent. So I'll bring up my editor program, and I'll bring up the one I know. Us not responding. All right. So I'll bring up, say, like The Simpsons, right? Because this is the size I know that it works. So then I'll delete that. Control A, delete. All right. And then I'll import. I don't know why my computer's acting crazy. Come on, not responding. Then we'll open up that Sunset Rider one we just did. It's not there. You see it? This one here. Yep, so that looks good. And I'll just save that. So that looks good as it is. So I don't need to do anything with it. It looks to be the same size. So I'm gonna close that. So I don't need to change that. All right. I don't need to change any of those things. So now I just put my image on here. So I'm gonna turn off the computer there. Put my drive back in. go back to that drive on the H drive, images, main, and then we have the sunset right there, writers there. We're not going to change that one. We're just going to add to it. We're going to add a new drive here. We're going to go over to our, open this folder, open location. So here we're going to copy this. Where's that? Sunset. This one here. So we're going to copy this. Put that over into our main folder, paste. Okay. And now we edit our menu file, H SDL. Edit our menu file. And we're going to change that sunset to be the sunset writers. So that's the name of the file. We're going to go to sunset writers. Instead of being this name here, we're going to make it our name, sunset writers. Make sure there's no spaces in between anything. Save this. And make sure we close any of those things. Eject this. Switch back over to our view here. And plug this back in. Turn on our device. And now we should have our Sunset Riders logo that looks much better. Scotty Roboti says, thanks for the video, man. Hey, you're welcome. Hope it helps everyone get started and get their final product out and looking the way you want it. This is your cabinet. You want it to act and look and perform the way you want it to. So these are our new logos. Cowboy Mesa, and there's our new logo for Sunset Riders. So we have the characters in there. So I'd rather have the characters, there than just to have, like this Smash TV. So I'm going to update all of mine to, in my opinion, look better. And then I'll share those graphics I'll put it in the comment on this video. So once they're available, I'll give you the link to the files so that you can, if you want to use mine or some of mine, you can do so. I make it look simple, but you may not have the skill set to do so. But I'll make them available so you can at least have yours look a little better than what's provided here. Because again, this is their function, their purpose is to get these games running. But we always have an interest in how it's going to look in our arcade cabinet, right? In our home arcade. So, all right, guys, I think that's it. I don't think I missed any questions there. I'm not sure why it's not letting me scroll through these comments. That's weird, but that is what it's doing. There we go. So let's see here. So we answered all those questions. So the NFL folder is where you put your files, but you do have to use the launch.sh file to specify the paths to those, and that has to be correct. And again, I can't tell you how to do those for something that's maybe not there. I can see the structure of how, say, a Dreamcast file is, and that it looks for a different file set instead of a zip file. It's looking for a CHD file. You know what I mean? A Sony PlayStation file is going to be different, right? So those things I don't have the skill set to know. They have that in the Discord channel where you can ask those questions. You can ask those questions on Facebook groups and the modding groups and things like that. But again, I just shared with you what I did and hope that works for you guys. And I appreciate you guys watching. And those who come in later and have additional questions, again, I can only answer what I can answer. Use the um, Discord app and site to get more information about the project, when they're going to update it. And there may even be an alpha version out right now, but I have not checked because again, it works the way it works. I think the main thing that people are interested in is how to get rid of the frames per second and the memory count thing. And so I think that's going to be the only really reason to have to update from this beta version, other than whatever else they bring to it. But that's going to be one of the main things. How do you know, because most people are going to be content with how it runs, and maybe it runs faster. You guys know when you click a game to load. So if I click on this game to load, there's a considerable delay for that game to come up. And again, I don't know why this camera just it's good for people, but it's not so good for and it's crazy because it's like certain things you do, it'll clear up, but it's irrelevant. But you see the point I'm making here, it takes a while for these games. So maybe in the official version that comes out, maybe they have faster load times. I don't know. But when I do find out, when they do release that, I'll do another video showing how to update and what any changes that I'm aware of are. So you see, it's not crazy long, but there is a delay. And there's also the audio issues, right? If the audio is not set to where you want it prior to going into the game, then you can't change the audio once you're in the game. To exit the games, if you're not aware of it, you have to hold down this first player button, and that'll bring up the menu, the retro arch menu. And you can navigate down to close content. I don't know why. Come on, man. And then quit retro arch. Again, you can't see anything. Hit that button, and that will exit you back to the menu. Why, oh why, oh why is this camera so janky? Next time, I'll use a better camera. Oh, wait. And there was a focus. Maybe it's focus and shutter. Close the shutter. A little bit better. I don't know. Maybe it's just because my hand was on the screen. All right, that's going to do it. Craziness. Is that crazy? Because it's like it's trying to focus. I think it's trying to focus on people and not on this particular Yeah, what do you mean? Did I miss how to change the background? How'd you do that? Yes. Change the BG file in the SDL folder. That's all you got to do. I have to find my V. So, okay. Oh, in your folder, which in my case is on your drive. Since my drive is still in the computer in the cabinet, you can't see it. But when you go into this folder, in the SDL file, this BG for background, you see that that's the image. If we were using the test file, you would have BG, and it's just a blank screen. Okay, so in your team encoder image, it's just this blank screen, the BG file. In the image that I downloaded, the BG file is this Bart Simpson screen. And so whatever you make this BG is going to be your background for your menu. Can I just add an image and rename it BY? You can rename BG to be whatever you want it to be so that you have the original if you care to have the original, but the file has to be BG for background, not BY. I'm not sure what BY is. As long as this file says BG, again, I would just rewind the video. I would start with either their default one, or I would start with, because it could be that it has to be a certain size or shape or file size. So if you don't get it to work, if you put an image in there and call it BG and it doesn't display, it's probably because it's too big. So like in this case here, I started with this file and kept it the same exact size and replaced it with mine. Okay, you do that, you should be good. I got you. Typo. All right, guys. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you for those who've checked in and watched after the fact. I appreciate you. And I'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for watching Detroit Love. Please subscribe to the channel. Like and share the video. We want to see and read your comments below. And until next time, I'll see you on the web.